Hello and welcome to Traditional Stitches FlossTube video number 46. I'm Janice Spencer, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and here is Rose Heck, our Stitch Along leader. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Janice. How are
How's
you
your month?
today?
I'm good. How's your month been?
Good, good. I'm just, we're into April. We're almost halfway into April already. So it's gone by in a blur. So good things, bad things, and continual stitching things.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about those stitching things for sure. Okay. Well, as you can see, I have a different backdrop. So I am mostly moved. And so I thought we would talk about what I'm going to do on this wall. So it has a window that's directly across from it, which is east facing, and then another window to my right, a really big picture window that is south facing. And my original thought had been that I was going to hang some of my antique samplers that I will eventually reproduce on the wall behind me, but I think it's too sunny.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Just the UV rays and the damage that will eventually do to the antique samplers, unless you close the curtains or blinds the whole time.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to be on top of that, I don't think. So
Yeah.
I have to make a different plan. And then, of course, I thought about, okay, well, do I bring shop models back and forth? Because I film from home, because it's quieter and I'm not in anybody's way at the shop. So the business of the shop is going on today. It's Friday while we're recording, and it's just easier for me to be filming from home. But I can't really bring shop models back and forth to hang on the wall because they're there for the customers to see. So
yeah, I see your, I mean, my only other thought is if those antique samplers were conserved with museum quality glass that blocks out 95% of the UV rays, that would be the alternative.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm game to unframe those guys yet. I don't.
Yeah.
Because I plan to reproduce them, I probably will unframe them at some point, but I want to be able to do it when I'm ready to start looking at colors and that kind of thing. And that's not right now. So
yeah, I understand that. My only other thought is hang them for a couple of years, take them down and like cycle them through so that they, are not affected, and so that they're not up there the full time.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, because the other part of having those is to have them out to enjoy them, right? If they're all packed away and you don't get to enjoy them, then
so true. So true.
Yeah.
Bit of a dilemma.
Yeah, so stay tuned to see if anything happens on this wall behind me.
Good idea.
Yeah. Alrighty. So in today's video, we are going to talk about our Ann Jonson stitch along, the Hannah Campbell stitch along, and just to drop a little hint here, we both have finishes to show. A new designer to Traditional Stitches, and our usual hand-dyed linen parade, and then talk about some plans.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so we'll talk. Ann Jonson is our Traditional Stitches exclusive sampler from Hands Across the Sea Samplers, limited edition. And we've been running a stitch along through our Facebook group on that. And we are meeting today to launch the 3rd month of our stitch along. So how did Ann go for you this past month?
I got the house done. I built the windows. There's been a lot of grumbling in the Facebook page with those windows, and some very, comic relief kind of comments. I got it done. I forgot to grab the division of the month, so let me grab that.
Okay.
So the dreaded house building, window building is complete. That was month 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got through it.
So other than it being more time consuming, which is what I found, was it took way longer than I had expected it to be. Did you have how was the elongated cross?
The elongated cross was easy. However, it was not, it was a little random.
Yeah, and threw us some curveballs in that, didn't she?
Now, yeah, and There was one spot of randomness that I realized I might have put in a 1/1 stitch. I can't remember, but it was okay because on the opposite side, I just changed and it still worked out. And you'll never know. I hate to say it, but it was kind of fun. As long as the PDF, I got it as big as I could.
Yeah.
And, you have to kind of follow it. It wasn't intuitive. You really had to follow that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Maybe the paying attention part was the biggest challenge. I don't know, but I found it, took longer than I thought, that the PDF was critical, but the effect is great. I'm really happy with it now that it's done.
And I know a lot of stitchers, and I'm one, you want to relax with your stitching and you don't want to really think other than colors changing or whatever. And this, you really had to put your thinking cap on and you really had to be watchful. So, watching TV or listening to an audiobook could take away a little bit from it. So you really had to pay attention. I was glad when it was done. And Krista Gramer had some, cute comments about the window contractor and, firing him and that. And I mean, if you can't cry, you might as well laugh. And, there was some, good jovial comments put on with this. And I know there are some that are still within doing it, and, just keep watch with the last video and check on the Facebook page about how to do it. And
I found that just sitting down, usually I'm a reward stitcher, like I do one thread of fun stuff and then I go back and do one thread of must do stuff. But I found that once I got in the groove for the elongated cross stitch, I just stayed there and didn't switch it up at all. So
yeah, I didn't want to, because my thought is if I do switch off to something else, that extends it that much longer, and I could have had it done. So I just stick with it.
So the bright side is that the house was not solidly stitched, right? We didn't have to do that on top of that. So anyways, so show us your Ann Jonson if you've got it.
It's a little wrinkly. I folded it up and it's a bit wrinkly, but that's okay. So
awesome.
That's it. So for everybody that's watching, just persevere. And I suppose, I mean, there's alternatives, I suppose, if you really don't like it. So you could even do a back stitch, I suppose. So
but no, I think it was effective. It was worthwhile. I see you've moved a little bit into the 3rd month, because sometimes it just makes sense to do that.
It did. I must have.
Yep.
I did, with a bit of the vining. Because it was, and it might have been the way I had set up the lines for between the 2nd and 3rd month, but it's not written in stone. So I must have done that. Yeah, I did. How about you?
Yep, I moved into the 3rd month too. This is
you really have.
Yeah, but I'm racing ahead trying to get a shop model frame for the wall. So and just taking advantage of what little stitching time I get, because moving is time consuming and crazy making. So
don't envy your position. I haven't moved for over 30 years, and
I've done it more than once in the last handful of years, so I'm hoping that kind of is the end of it. But anyways, alrighty, so if you want to join us in the Ann Jonson sampler, there are still kits available, and like Rose was saying, we've got a great Facebook group for the stitch along, and there's some fun poking and that kind of thing, so it's enjoyable, and please join us if you would like to.
And on a personal note on that, thank you to all those that have posted photos and comments and that, and I just hope that they keep that up. I love seeing the comments, and I like that, so keep it up.
Good. Excellent. It's nice to have the community.
Exactly.
All right, so the other stitch along we've been featuring in our videos is the Hands Across the Sea Hannah Campbell sampler.
Right.
So this was not a traditional Stitches exclusive, but we are a co-sponsor of the Facebook Stitch Along for Hannah Campbell. And this stitch along started last year, about a year ago now. And because it was such a densely set up sampler that the stitch along was meant to be for 15 months, I started mine in June and then stalled out about Christmas time this year because of some availability issues with the silk thread. So we've since resolved that. And this past weekend, I was able to finish mine, and social media tells me you might have finished yours too.
I did. I did.
All right, let's show them.
There we go. Let me just go back a little here.
It all in.
Yes.
That's
funny
awesome.
How colors look a bit different depending on yours or mine, but they're exactly the same.
Yep, same thread, same linen. Yep. So yep. I think it's more lighting than anything else.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Trying to photograph this was a little difficult. So.
Oh. So we did ours on the 46 count Lakeside Linens Vintage Sand Dune using the SWA 100/3 for the cross stitch over 2 and the SWA Surfine for the cross stitch over 1 and the Accentuate metallic for the windows in the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was awesome.
I think my saving grace was that SWA Surfine. I don't think going forward, if there is something that's a lot of over 1, I will just automatically go to a finer.
Go straight to that. Yeah.
Even if it's a DMC, I may just do that.
So. Well, our Jonson sampler, the first one that we talked about, does have some cross stitch over 1 in the verse there and also in her signature line here. And so a lot of people who are stitching it with the 100/3 have also chosen the SWA Surfine for that over 1, and it just really does make a difference. I agree with you. I don't think I'd go back.
No, I mean, when I had to do the verse on Hannah Campbell, and I had started it the month before, and I think the next month it wasn't even complete. I can't remember exactly. It's not in front of me, but I had to get it done, and it took quite a while to do. So glad to have it done. I put my name and the date over 1. It's like, am I crazy?
Oh, yeah, we should show, we each did that quite differently. So we should show the close-up of that. I wanted to see yours in detail. So can you show yours?
Okay, so I kind of copied Melissa, who did the original reproduction. How do you say it?
Yeah.
The reproduction.
The model.
The model, thank you.
Just right there in the corner, really subtle with her name there and then the years right there.
So I copied hers and I found doing the date or the year angled was tricky because I don't have a PC program. I have to graph it out. So I'll show you. You can see it there.
Oh yeah.
I did it in the 494, which is kind of a rose pink, which, I'm kind of all about symbolism. So rose pink, my name being Rose. But I have to tell you a little secret. I had graphed it out. I figured it out. I put it in. And I realized my K, there was not enough room for the K. So I kind of angled it down. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to Rob and I said, what do you think? And he says, maybe you should take it out and redo it. And I says, do you know what you're asking me? That's all over 1 on 46 count. And he says, well, if you're happy with it. No, I'm not. So I did take it out. And you know what? It only took me 20 minutes to take it out. Not as long as I thought. And so I did restitch it, and it was like not even 2 hours to take it out and restitch it. So,
and you're happier with it, and
so much happier.
Cool. Well, I did not do my full name. I just did my initials down in the very bottom corner of the sampler, and so just right there. So just JS 2024 over 1.
Cool.
Yeah. So I was really anxious to get this to the framer, but then I thought, oh no, I need to have it for the video. So now I can get it to the framer.
Right.
And what are your plans for framing yours?
Well, I had one antique frame out that I need to do some work on, but I was down, I have a closet of frames. I went down there this morning before my client came and I started looking and I pulled one out that I haven't found anything for years to fit in it, and it fits in it quite perfectly. So I haven't made a final decision yet. I take a picture and I'm going to just think about it. So,
Okay.
so it'll be in the next month, hopefully.
Cool. Well, we'll hopefully both have our framed versions to show in the next video.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so the one thing that I did want to say about henna was that with that being such a dense sampler and so much going on, I thought it was going to take me way longer to stitch it than it did. So
yeah,
I was
too.
quite happy to have it done in the time frame that I did.
Right. Well, and I know the last month I went ahead a little bit, and just because I kind of wanted to get that over one done. So when I started it April 1st, it took me 2 or 3 days to do the lettering. And I thought, well, let's just work a little bit longer. And I kept on going. I thought, you know what? Why don't you just get it done? Like stop teasing myself. Just get it done.
The end is in sight.
Oh yeah. So I think Tuesday night. So it was I think it was 8 days of stitching. And awesome. I had some full days of stitching. I had the time. So
cool. Wow, you got to take those when you can get them.
I know.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so the next thing that I want to talk about is that at the end of June, Traditional Stitches is going to Edmonton, Alberta for a retreat. We're going to be the shop in the boutique at the Stitch and Stash Edmonton that happens at the West Edmonton Mall. And it is going to be, I wrote it down, later in June. And the retreat is full, but they're already talking about what their plans are for 2025. So I would say that join the Facebook group and watch for postings and availability for registration for 2025, because it's a great big retreat full of room. What do I want to say here? A room full of stitchers with huge enthusiasm and lots of fun and lots of door prizes and swag bags and that kind of thing. So it is definitely worth going to. So in getting ready for that, we've started ordering in some fun, different product that we don't normally carry. The theme is going to be Christmas in June.
Oh, that's a twist on Christmas in July.
Yeah, well, they have to say kind of a little bit out of prime season to keep it a little bit affordable. And so the retreat being in June, that's perfect. So I want to show you this new line of product that I've brought in for the shop. We do have them all listed on the website, but I saw these in person in Nashville and they were just so cute, I couldn't resist. So anyway, so the link to the retreat group on Facebook is below, and that's where you will find all of the information that you need and watch for release dates for next year. So what I brought in is some kits from Satsuma Street.
Oh,
yeah. So when I saw them in Nashville, I had kind of had them in mind anyways, and then I saw them in Nashville and in person. It's just one of those things that's so much better. So I don't think I'm going to get any models stitched before the retreat, but that would be fun. Anyways, so the first design I'm going to show you is a release that they had at the Nashville market that sold out right away. It was so popular, and that is this funky chickens.
Oh, those are so cute.
They are so cute. And so on the bottom, they have this chart to say what the cluck. So, yeah.
Those
so it includes
adorable.
Just the chart and finishing instructions for the 3 of them. But Jody, who is Satsuma Street, has a finishing video up on her website. So that will take care of all the details you need to know.
Those are the stitched version of quilted chickens or sewn chickens, I guess. And I have a couple downstairs that are kind of quilted, a log cabin quilt and small little, and they're so cute.
Well, and often they're weighted, right? Like you use them to hold down your fabric or. Yeah. So fun. Yeah.
Oh, those are cute.
So that one is just a chart, but the rest of them that I'm going to show you are kits. And the kits include perforated paper, DMC floss, a needle, and the embellishments. So I couldn't resist buying ones that weren't only Christmas themed. So I'm going to show you a couple of Halloween and some super sweet spring ones. And I'm just going to go through these fairly quickly just so that you can see. So this is Benny Bones. And so this is an example of what's included in the kit. So the perforated paper is within the chart to keep it in good shape. There's needle, all of the embellishments, all the bling, and then DMC floss. And then inside the chart is complete stitching instructions. So let's zip through these quick. This is called the Big Wahoo. Fun, eh? So
fun is right.
Yeah. So finished size of that ornament is 3.75 by 4.5. So ornament size, totally doable. And when you go to a retreat and you buy something like that, don't you just want to start it right now? Yeah. So it's awesome that everything that you need is included in the kit. And knock it off in hopefully just a few hours, but who knows?
Well,
retreats are full of distractions. So okay, so now we're going to get into the spring ones, and I think these are super cool. So this is birds.
Oh yes,
like the colors in Jody's.
She has an eye for color.
Totally. Bunnies.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and there's even little pom-poms, 2 little pom-poms in there for their butts.
Oh, she thought of everything.
Butterflies.
Nice.
And eggs. I know Easter has passed, but there's no time like now to get started on your stitching next year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, now into the Christmas ones. So Mary Pear.
Seen them.
And again, see all the little blingy bits that are included in there? This one I think might be my favorite. Merrily They Ring. Holiday Horse. Calling Birds.
Oh, that's cute. I like that one. That might date me though. You don't see phones like that. Oh, that one's nice.
Yeah, the colors, like I say, the colors are just really fun.
Yeah.
Mitten Kitten.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Ring-a-ding Santa. And Snow Angel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so fun, hey? So we've got those all listed on our website, and we've got the link is in the description box below. So
yeah. Those are good for anybody that wants to do an ornament a month.
Yeah, that's for sure. And there's lots of other ones to choose from too. So if these prove to be as popular as I think they're going to be, then we'll just bring in a wider selection of her designs. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so just to go back to that retreat a little bit, because I think it's going to be here before we know it. And we're doing things like ordering in extra Needlework System 4 stands and Lowry stands and that kind of thing, just to make sure. Lights, Halo Go lights, just to make sure that we've got plenty on hand for the retreat. We've actually are borrowing a really big pickup truck with a really big topper to drive everything up this year. And so one thing though is we can't bring everything, so we won't be bringing loose stock of threads and or excuse me, all of the fabric. So if anybody is attending and has an advanced order that they would like to place, we definitely recommend that that's a good idea, and we'll have that all prepped and ready to pick up at the retreat.
Perfect.
And the boutique for the retreat is only available to registered participants for the retreat. Sometimes people think that it would be a good idea to be able to just walk in and have a look around. But for insurance, liability, that kind of thing, reasons, it's not that way. Yeah, so you just have to be coming to the retreat to get all this stuff. Yeah, but if you have any questions, just email us at the shop. And now it's time for our hand-dyed linen parade. So last video, we talked a little bit about how Traditional Stitches handles orders for hand-dyed linens, given the current challenges in availability. And we had a lot of really great comments and feedback on that. So I really appreciated that. This happens to be the process that works for us. And so we've worked it out over the years. It's been really good. So if you want to see about that, that is in our most recent FlossTube video, which would be number 45. So the hand-dyed linens that I have to show you today are some R&R linens that we happen to have in stock, as well as some popular colors of Picture This Plus that we have on hand and ready to go, and then also some Mason linen limited edition colors. So got quite a pile here, so I'm just going to motor straight through. Okay, so R&R first. This is 18th century Blackbird in 36 count.
Your surroundings make it look a bit green.
Does it? It actually, maybe it does look a little bit green, but it's mostly meant to be a gray.
Yeah.
And then 36 vintage homespun. So a really nice mid-range neutral brown. But you're right, the wall is showing interesting things with this.
Yeah, it almost looks like putty.
Huh, interesting. I'm just looking to see if I have a white sheet of paper or something that I can back this with. Hold, please. Okay, so let's try this. See if that's any better for this vintage homespun.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is Ligonier Latte.
That's very pretty.
Yeah, it is. So it's a little bit less brown than the vintage homespun. Okay, Winter Brew, which is the perennial favorite and probably the one that we sell the most of. We happen to have quite a bit of 36 count Winter Brew in stock right now, so it's a good time to gobble it up. This is 40 count Brenda's Brew, which is mocha-er. Not a bad match to the wall behind me, but
I've worked on that one before. It's very nice.
And 40 count creme brulee. So some of these lighter R&R fabrics have been a little bit harder to find lately. So if you've been waiting for a specific color and you haven't been able to get it, then maybe one of these colors that we have in stock will work to substitute for your project. So creme brulee. And similar to the creme brulee is vanilla bean. It's a little bit more golden, I would say.
That's really pretty. I really like that one.
40 count Ligonier Latte. And we actually also have, in addition to the 36 Winter Brew, we have 40 count Winter Brew. Yeah, so definitely worth having if you've been looking for any of these fabrics before. So now I have Picture This Plus fabrics, some that I just picked from our stock that happened to talk to me yesterday when I was packing up for the video, or that I thought were going to be interesting to talk about. So these Picture This Plus colors are 28 count Mirage. This is the Mirage in Lugana, and this is the Mirage in Cashel linen. So you can see that they take the color just a smidge bit differently, and maybe the linen has a bit more model to it.
Right.
Lugana linen in 28 count. So the Mirage is a super popular color that is sometimes hard to get, but we have some.
Okay.
And then here's some good neutrals. So this is 32 count fawn. So a good neutral with some good modeling. 32 count legacy, which is a standard Picture This Plus neutral color favorite. Lots of designs call for it, and it is just a really great base.
Yes.
And then this is, I really like this fabric. This is Velt, 32 count Velt. Look at all the interesting things going on in the background. Like a background for a scene, nature or something like that. It would just be so interesting. Greens and golds and browns and just yummy. Okay, so some more Mirage, this time in 36 count linen. Isn't that pretty? 36 count Velt. Again, that really interesting.
Yeah.
40 count Heartland, which is also just always a really great neutral.
Sure is.
Yeah, and so these pieces that I'm showing you, we have at least a yard of continuous. So if you were looking for a good neutral base to do a large sampler or a series of samplers on, they would be a good choice for that, because we have the big cut that we can send. This is 40 count sand.
It's pretty.
And oaken. So this is a darker neutral, but it just has so many possibilities.
It does. It does.
And then this is fun. This is not my typical color, but it is such a pretty color. This is 40 count Nessie. So there's some Jeanette Douglas, or even like the hands-on designs at Nashville released the botanical bee chart. That would be really fun on this 40 count Nessie, and really dainty on it. So, and it's got lots of interesting modeling going on. And then the other one I have to show you is 40 count Vellum, which is also just always a good neutral base with some interesting modeling going on. Alrighty, so then the next that I want to show you is the Mason Linen limited edition fabrics that we have in stock. And these are all 40 count linen. And so when we bought them from Mason Linens, they gave us a really good price on them. So when you look on our website, the price for the limited editions compared to the price for her regular line fabrics, it's lower. And the other thing in conversations with Patty in the last couple of weeks is that this is kind of the last batch of these limited editions that we're going to get, that we're going to move on to some other things, other limited editions, including teaser, some traditional stitches, exclusive colors in Mason Linen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're super excited about that. That's a few months away, but yeah, exciting. And Patty has told me in words about the color that we're talking about for the first one, and it just sounds so perfect that, but I haven't seen the swatches yet, but I still think it's going to be great. Anyways, so these are the 40 count limited editions that we currently still have on hand. So I'll just, and they're just numbered. So this is limited edition number 1. So it's quite light. And number 2, so it's just a little bit shaded darker. This is number 4. So it's a nice dark fabric. This is number 5, and it is a nice neutral, maybe with a little bit of pink to it. But we're finding that a lot of people are really happy with it for substitutions for like Teresa Kogut's Nashville release of the Serenity sampler. This number 5 has been really popular for that. So it's a great price point for the big hunk of linen that you need to buy. And we have it in stock, even better.
Nice.
Okay, this is number 7, which the color's just not showing great. It's golden. It's a little bit more golden than the other ones. And number 8, which is just a really nice light neutral. It looks a little bit gray. It's not as gray as a real person. So anyways, those are currently available, but don't blink because they don't last very long, and they're kind of the end of their types. So yeah, it's always fun to have those, but a little bit stressful to have those. But anyways, I hope everybody takes advantage of them and likes them as much as I do. Yeah, so the link to those hand-dyed fabrics is in the description box below. And so everything that I've shown here, you'll find orderable right there. And as of publication of the video, we have at least a full yard of each of them available to go out to you within a few days. So then plans and stuff, from the point of view of what's going on in the shop, we're reordering and working all of the exciting, fresh, new Nashville releases into our stock in the shop, which means that some of the older stuff needs to go. So we are putting more things into our sale section every week. And even last week, everything that was in there at that point got knocked down to 50% off. So have a look at that and see if there's any treasures that need to go home to you. And the link to the sale section is in the description box below. And so, Rose, what else have you been stitching? I think you talked about showing us.
I mean, I've got the map of Holland, which kind of frustrates me because it's big sheets, and the Queen Sampler, which I haven't done as much as I'd like. But the other one that I'm chomping at the bit to get back to is the Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger. And I don't have the cover photo in front of me. It doesn't matter. I'm sure most people know. And yep. I think since everyone has seen it the last time, I think I've made some progress. So I have gone to the other side. I had to get that sun in, and that one just makes me happy. Yep. And I probably, from here on, I'll probably fill in all of this and then, you know, go back to here and scroll it down and continue.
Oh,
love
fun.
That one.
Yeah, well, I'll insert a full picture of the chart here. That's one that I finished in the last little while and loved every single stitch I put in there. I know lots of people are swapping out the background. They don't want to stitch the green of the background, but I actually enjoyed that. I left that for the times when I didn't really want to be thinking too much about my stitching. So when I was having fresher moments, I would put in the outlining and fill in the other colors, but then the green was kind of soothing for other times. And I think it really adds a lot to the tapestry effect of the design, having the background stitched.
Yeah, and that's it. I think that's the purpose of this whole piece, is to make it look like a tapestry. So, I mean, I'm not going to tell you otherwise. You know, if you're doing a no background piece, you do you. But for me personally, I prefer the background stitched, and it just adds that richness and originality, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so that's a design that we sell in the shop. And if you do end up being able to visit our shop, we have the model hanging on the wall there. And it's definitely one of the more eye-catching pieces that we've got there.
Exactly. And those, I know I'm going to have people ask, but I'm stitching it on 40 count lambswool linen from Wichelt, which people don't like. I really like personally, and I like the integrity of it, especially full stitches.
Yeah,
doesn't really matter, but yeah,
that's what I used too, was the lambswool linen. And then also when we're kitting them with the quantities of my actual silk thread usage, which is a little bit different than what the chart says. I used a little bit more. So we want to make sure everybody's set up with the right amount from each dye lot, because it is Soie d'Alger and those dye lots can vary. So
yeah. So yeah, bottom line, if anybody is wanting to kit this up, just contact you and you can provide them with the amounts of Soie d'Alger that you actually use, so that nobody runs out like you did.
Yeah, well, and we had some challenges with that. And if you want to see those challenges, look back in some previous FlossTube videos, because I did share them, my conundrums, and we problem solved a little bit, didn't we, in those videos?
Yeah. I will remember that.
Excellent. So what have you got planned for the next month? You mentioned the camping word.
Well, hubby comes home this weekend, end of the weekend beginning. So we're planning to go camping. However, there is snow in the forecast. So this weekend, I'm still gonna, do the prep on our RV unit, and I have to do some cooking and baking and shopping, and hopefully that'll be the focus. And, beyond that, I've been working a lot and stitching a lot, and hopefully not too many vet trips. It's been a busy month with both animals, with vet trips. For those that don't know, my daughter is a vet, so thank goodness for that. That's all I'm gonna say, but yeah, no, it's all good. So that's kind of what the rest of the month is gonna look like until we meet again.
Okay. All right. Well, I am dying to get into my garden, but as you say, we still have more snow in the forecast. We might be going camping too, but not until the very first weekend of May for our birthday excursion. And I just plan from a stitching perspective just to work on Jonson and keep on getting a little bit of a head. I have a big trip planned in May that will take me away from my stitching for a couple of weeks. So I really want to get a jump on things before then.
Okay.
And so because of that trip, actually our May video is going to be recorded a few days early. I'm not exactly sure when. You and I will have to put our heads together on
correct.
What's going to work there, but keep posted for that, because then we're going to be moving into the 4th month of the Ann Jonson Stitch Along, and it's quite a bit different than anything that we've done so far, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I actually haven't even looked. Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, so great. Cool. Okay, well, thank you, Rose. As always, it's always so nice to visit with you.
Yes, yes, never long enough.
Yeah, you were in the shop a couple of days ago, but it was just a really quick in and out for a
I was heading to the vet. So yeah, I had a grab and go is really what it was. And I was itching to poke around, but I didn't have time. Another time.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll see you then.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.